Hello, everyone. Welcome. Lewis here with The Hit Life, where we bring you news, interviews, and more from all your favorite Southeast regional MMA promotions. Today, we're joined by attorney, philanthropist, community leader, fighter, and CEO of Imperial XL Promotions, Alton Edmond. Hello, Alton. Welcome back to The Hit Life.
Thank you so much for having me, Lewis. I am honored and privileged to have an opportunity to speak with you, brother.
Imperial XL is having its second event, IXP2 Unchained, this weekend, Saturday, June 17th, at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa, Florida. How excited are you about this event?
Words can't express it. You know, it's always a lot on the last couple weeks leading up to it. So I know it's going to be a busy time, and adding an extra layer from not just being a promoter and owner to also fighting on the same card adds an extra dynamic to the mix. But I'm excited because I'm ready, and I feel more ready than I've ever been for a fight.
You're ready not only on the athlete side, but also you're ready on the promotion side. What did you guys learn from the first event that you're going to do differently or maybe change for this one?
So first and foremost, there were a lot of differences that we made in timing. We started planning this event and putting things in place a lot earlier than we did last time. And as a result, we started selling tickets sooner. We got guys booked for the card sooner, and we filled the card up a lot sooner. I mean, if you'll recall, last time we had our promotion in January, most of the fighters on the card were from one gym, Unlimited Kickboxing, because one of the owners basically went all hands on deck and got all of his guys to commit to fight on our card. And I'm so grateful for David coming through the way he did for us. Couldn't have been what it was without him. But this time, because we started planning a lot earlier, we started marketing a lot earlier. We have a variety of gyms, people from Georgia, Alabama, South Florida, North Florida, and even some from closer to the West Coast in the Fort Myers area that'll be participating on this card. So I'm really excited.
Wow, you're really growing into a regional mainstay, especially in the Space Coast, where we really don't get a lot of MMA events over there, unfortunately. But you're really putting it on the map in that area of Florida. Um, you mentioned that you're taking on an opponent, a heavyweight MMA bout, Pat Broadnax. How's the training camp gone leading into this fight with putting the event together, your normal duties, running your law firm, everything else you got going on, and training for this heavyweight MMA bout?
So the awesome thing about this is that I started training back in February 2021. And at first, it was difficult to really balance a training regimen for training camp with the rest of the stuff I have going on in life. At this point, in my second year in the game, I've done a much better job of working my training regimen into my daily life. And so now, a lot of my friends on Facebook that follow what I do, they'll see me go live at 6 o'clock in the morning on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because now I'm training early in the morning before my workday even starts. So around this time of the day, I'm done for the day, and my training regimen is done. There are some days where I do two a days, and so some days I might train at 6 a.m. and I might come back for the 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. class. But most days I get my training out of the way early, and so there's no interference. This training camp has gone really smoothly. I might have missed. I can count on one hand how many days I've missed in this training camp due to prior arranged engagements, or I got a cold at one point, got sick, and I just didn't want to go to the gym and infect other people. And so I went and I lifted weights, I rode my bike, and I did work out, but I just didn't go to the gym because I didn't want to get other people sick. But it's been a very smooth training camp. I'm excited because you're going to see best version of me so far in that cage.
All right. You look good. You sound great. Your opponent, Pat Broadnax, what do you know about him?
Well, this is actually a rematch bout. I was he was my first opponent back in, it was actually Juneteenth weekend, this same weekend that we're fighting 2 years ago, 2021.
Wow.
We fought on Mo Muscle Fighting Championship on Mo's card. And it was my first fight. I started training in February and I was scheduled to fight in June the 19th back then. And so literally a year and 2 days, we'll be having a rematch. And that one, the way that it happened, it was, I think he had some pre-existing injuries and stuff that he was dealing with. And so some of that just came to a head when we got in the match. And I think he had a rib that popped out of place or dislocated when I went in to take him down and put that force and impact into his center section. But this time around, I made sure that, my team reached out and we talked to him, make sure those health issues had been cleared up and, he's healthy and feeling good and he's ready to fight. In terms of what I know about him, I've seen some of his footage and I know him to be a bigger, taller opponent. I believe he outweighs me by probably 20 pounds, which is nothing that I haven't seen already. And he's a brawler. He's going to come out there and try to knock my head off. And so I have to be disciplined and ready to go back at him.
So you've already seen him in the cage before, but it's been a little bit of time. Where do you feel like you have the advantage over Pat?
I definitely grappling. I don't think he has a wrestling background, and so if I want to take him down, I'm fairly certain that I won't have an issue doing that. I've also been working on BJJ, and so once I get him down to the ground, if I decide to take him down, I know what to do once we get there. But honestly, I think he's going to want to fight on the feet. And I feel really confident with the training that I put in over the last 2 years. I've literally been training at a kickboxing gym 3-4 days a week for the last 2 years. And so you're going to see a huge improvement in my striking. And that's something that I want people to see.
Yeah. And you're training under Coach David Duquillo, which is a local legend, Olympic kickboxer. So you're training with the best in the state.
Absolutely.
I know you're really humble, but I got to ask you, what's your prediction for this one?
I predict a win, and I think it'll be a finish. But how that happens, I can't say. It's really going to depend on where the fight goes. It depends on what opportunities present themselves because I'm not going to rush into a finish and run into something, and I don't anticipate that he's going to bull rush me and run into something either. He knows that I can wrestle, and he got to experience that the first time around. So I don't see him bull rushing me and setting up an easy takedown either.
Yeah, this bout that you're going into, I'm sure it's going to have the crowd on their feet. What other bouts on the card should we be getting excited about?
Man, it's a few exciting bouts on the card. We got Gabe Camilo. He's a local guy that's very well known. He wrestled out at Bayside, and he's very known in the wrestling community. If you follow the kid on Instagram or TikTok, he has a bunch of followers and has a very good social media presence. Kid's a beast, and his dad's a professional fighter. So super excited to see him perform. It'll be his first time in the cage. But we've seen what he could do on a wrestling mat, and he's trained BJJ. I have no doubt in my mind that kid's going to be uber prepared. There's another guy that's on this card that people are super excited about in the community. I didn't know this, but apparently, he had some, underground fights years ago that aren't really documented. And so he's returning to the cage after a very long hiatus. But Keaton Short is another one that people are going to be really excited to see in the cage. He's someone that people just that they seem to love. People were sharing that and super excited about it. Duke Webb is set to compete, and Duke is another one that the crowd loves to see compete. And get really excited about. How often do you get to see a super heavyweight?
Wow.
in the cage.
That's
Not
exciting.
very often. Yeah, man.
No.
And it's exciting. Not only is this he a super heavyweight, but he's a guy that's super athletic for his size. He's someone that can head kick you and all of those things. And while his match is a BJJ match, he's a guy that people get really excited to see because of his athleticism. And we have some others on there too. I mean, Brock Reynolds, he's a guy locally that a lot of people know. He does BJJ competitions regularly. He's a guy that people get to see compete on a regular basis. And so people are excited to see him do his thing. And the list goes on. There are some other guys coming down from Georgia that have a following, that have people in Georgia that want to come see them do their thing too. So it's a pretty cool card, man. I'm excited to be a part of this. And there are a bunch of exciting guys on this card that I think crowds are going to want to see.
You seem really excited about it, and you're getting me pumped about this. I want to ask you, what do you enjoy more? Do you like the fighting as an athlete or the promoting the business side of it?
I definitely like the fighting side more. When I got into promotion, I really wasn't expecting as much politics, as much cutthroat, backbiting as I ended up seeing. There are guys from other promotions that have been purposefully poaching our guys, telling them, hey, don't compete on this card, come and compete on our card next month. So we've been dealing with that, and just some loyalties have been tested. And I'm thankful for the guys who have had the integrity to say, if I commit to fight on your card, I'm going to follow through. Because we blacklisted a few guys who were talked out of competing on our card for another promotion, and didn't have integrity. So we blacklisted those guys. We don't even call or bother them anymore. And it's their loss, because, as an amateur fighter that wants to go to the next level, we started this promotion. This promotion was started by fighters, right? Guys that love the sport, guys that have been around it for a long time. You talked about David DeQuolo, my striking coach. He's also one of my business partners. He's someone that's been around this sport since the 1970s. Since before most of the competitors on this card were even born. In fact, before all of them were born. And I've been around this sport. I started wrestling back in 2003. Stout, who's my other partner, Gerald Stout, he's been coaching wrestling, and he's got some involvement in BJJ. He's been around the sport since the late 90s, early 2000s, so a few years before me. And so all three of us, we have competed in combat sports. We have been around promotions. We've been a part of the promotion process even before starting this ourselves. We've been a part of promoting events. We've been competitors and all of these different things. And so, we wanted to do this so that we can highlight local guys here in Brevard County who would otherwise have to travel an hour to the nearest promotion to be a part of something. And we also want to give our guys special opportunities to be promoted and highlighted so they can go to the next level. And unfortunately, when we have promoters that are trying to monopolize the time of certain fighters, it's really to the detriment of the fighters, because you're not giving them as much opportunity to reach a wider audience, to reach a bigger market, to make more connections with other fighters, other coaches, other promoters that maybe have a connection to take them to the next level. And unfortunately, the guys that we blacklisted, I'm not only a competitor, I'm not only a promoter, but I'm a sponsor. I've sponsored fighters, and there's no way that I'm shelling out any money to sponsor someone who doesn't even have the integrity to show up when they say they're going to show up, and who back out because some other promoter convinced them to do so. And so really they're losing out on a boatload of opportunities potentially because of things like that. But I'm not as much a fan of the promotion side because of that. Just seeing guys, true nature and lack of integrity in the game, because I'm a business person and have been doing business for a number of years. I've been an owner of a motivational speaking company since 2013. I've been an owner of a law firm since 2017. And I've been an investor in real estate since 2019. And so I've owned businesses for a number of years. And I'm all about doing business the right way, treating people with integrity, operating in integrity. And when you do that, good things happen. And we've seen our promotion grow from the last one, even to this second promotion. We've seen it grow in spite of people doing things to try to sabotage us. So I'm just really excited. But if I had to choose one side or the other, I'm definitely choosing the fighting and competitive side over the promotion side.
You're definitely doing something right. I have read comments and talked to people who competed in the on the first IXP event, and they said that they loved it. They loved the way they were treated, and that shows that you're still going down that path. You've been there. You guys aren't businessmen. You're not here for the profit. You're for the community. You're for building Florida combat sports, and it shows when you're treating the most valuable assets in amateur promotions, which is the fighters, with the respect that they deserve. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and that was the goal when we started this. As the founder of this organization, with my two business partners, David DeQuolo and Gerald Stout, the goal was to put fighters first. Now, of course, we want to make a profit, and if we don't have much of a business plan. But the goal is to put the fighters first. And so, even simple things like I have competed on two different promotions, and I've been scheduled to compete on a third promotion that, for whatever reason, just kind of fell through down in South Florida. And after neither of those promotions were we even offered bottled water to drink after guys had been maybe cutting weight for weeks. None of them offered, just simple things like that to take care of the fighters. We offered water to drink. We had food. We had a caterer set up outside of our first event to make sure that guys had food, had something to drink. And this time we're going even above and beyond that. Not only are we supplying food and drinks for the fighters after weigh-ins, but we're also, for our fighters that are coming down from out of state, we booked the Airbnb and we have our own fight house for our fighters. And so our guys will have a full house. They'll have a kitchen, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And these aren't guys that are competing against each other, so we're not worried about conflict. And we have someone staying in the house to make sure that they look after, and the guys aren't damaging people's property either. But we set up a fight house for these guys, and the guys that are coming down from out of state, they'll have a place to lay their heads for the Friday night of weigh-ins and for Saturday night after the fight, and they don't have to check out until late morning that Sunday when they get on the road to head back. And so we're providing accommodations, not just discounted block rates at some hotel that guys have to pay for that are coming from out of state. We're paying for a house for them to stay in that they'll be comfortable in. And that's beautiful. We sent them pictures and the guys were like, wow, no one else is doing this. And it's true. They aren't doing this, but we're looking out for our guys. We want you to know that we appreciate you. Not only that, we're offering free photo shoots. And so our guys that come and compete on our cards are going to get a free photo shoot again, so that they have high quality fight photos for our promotion if they want to compete with us again. And we give them to them, we send them to them, so that they can use those photos when they compete on a different promotion, because we want them to fight on multiple promotions. We want them to get their names out there. Not only that, we're also putting their bios and photos up on our website, so that if someone Googles their name, because people will Google the fighters. If someone's set up to compete in a fight, they're going to get Googled. When people Google the names of our fighters that compete on the card, the ones that submit their bios and pictures will be featured on our website, so that when they get a Google search, someone can look them up. They can see their bio. They can see why they got into the fight game in the first place. They can see photos and get a little bit of background on them, so that if someone's looking for a professional fighter or something like that, they can come straight to our website and they can read up on our fighters that compete. And that's for anyone that competes on one of our cards, whether you win, whether you lose. If you show up and if you make weight, even if your opponent backs out, you send us a bio, you send us a photo, we'll feature on our website, because we want to promote you. We want to give you opportunities to go to that next level, and to encourage sponsors and professional organizations if they're interested.
Yeah, that's incredible, Alton. Competing with Imperial XL Promotions is an excellent opportunity for any amateur combat sports athlete. Not to put the cart before the horse, but when do you plan to do your next event?
We've already got it scheduled for September 16th. Our next event is Brawl in the Fall on September 16th. And so that was going to be right here in Brevard County as well. We're looking at a different venue, so it may not be in the Space Coast Convention Center. Look out for more details, but it will be September 16th at 7 p.m. The rest of the details are to follow. But September 16th, we've already booked it. We've already started with our DJ, our venue, and some of the basics. But we're filling that card in. We've already got a few people committed to fight on that card who were injured or just not quite in shape or ready to fight on this June 17th event that are already looking forward to September 16th. So we're excited.
Coaches and athletes, you heard the man. Reach out to Imperial XL Promotions, reach out to Alton Edmond, reach out to David DeQuillo. You guys want to get on this card. You heard how he treats it. So is there any last things you want to say to the people watching this video, Alton?
I just want people to know that we're providing something high quality. All of the fighters that competed on the card loved it. All of the people in the crowd that had a chance to be there gave great reviews. I think the only bad review we had was a few VIP guests that had people crossing in front of that section too much. And so we're going to watch the traffic a little bit and make sure that our security keeps an eye on that, because we want every single guest, everyone in attendance, to be comfortable and to enjoy themselves. And even every little issue that we had in the last promotion, we've taken steps to prevent those issues moving forward. So we're going to have an even more successful event this time around. And in September, it's going to be even better. So I'm excited about what's coming down the pipeline. Look us up, www.imperialxlpromotions.com, for more information if you want to fight, if you want tickets, or if you want to know more about what we do and who's involved.
It's Saturday, June 17th at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa, Florida. Follow Alton Edmond on Facebook and Instagram. Follow Imperial XL Promotions. Go to imperialxlpromotions.com to buy your tickets and learn more. Thank you so much, Alton, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for having me, Lewis.
If you enjoyed this interview, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get more.